Welcome to the YouTube channel Math Skill. Today let's learn about the topic quadratic equations under NCERT as well as CBSE syllabus. Under NCERT it is exercise 10.1 question number 2 fourth bit. Under CBSE it is exercise 4.1 question number 2 fourth bit. Now we will see what the problem is about. So here he says represent the following situation in the form of a quadratic equations. So we will have to build a quadratic equation by understanding the statement what is given. The statement problem is a train travels a distance of 480 kilometers. So there is a train which is traveling a total distance of 480 kilometers at a uniform speed. If the speed had been 8 kilometers per hour lesser, then it would take 3 hours more to cover the same distance. We need to find the speed of the train. So we will have to build a quadratic equation in terms of a speed of a train, so that upon finding factors of that particular quadratic equation, we should be able to find the speed of the train. So now how to do it? First, let's note down the given data. So the given data, he says the total distance traveled by the train is 480 kilometers. We have noted it down. Since we want to build a quadratic equation, now we will have to assume a variable x for some entity. So here the entity for which we are measuring, for which we are assuming this, is related to the speed of the train. So now speed of the train is assumed as x kilometers per hour. We also know that the speed is equal to distance by time. So since the time is in the denominator, that is, it is getting divided by to the distance. So if we want to take this time towards the LHS, then upon transpose, the divided by would get converted to multiplied by. So that is why time is getting multiplied by speed. Since we want time alone in the LHS, now let's transpose the speed towards the RHS. So it would get divided by. So therefore, time is equal to distance by speed. Now coming back to the problem, the total distance traveled by the train is 480 kilometers. So therefore, at the average speed of x kilometers per hour, now therefore time is equal to 480 divided by x. Now let's call this time as t1, that is t1 is equal to 480 divided by x, so many hours. Now in order to build the quadratic equation, now let's worry about the next condition. That is, here he says if the speed of the train had been 8 kilometers per hour lesser, then it would take 3 hours more. That is, in general, if a automobile is moving at a lower speed, then it would take more amount of a time. That is, earlier the train was moving at a speed of x kilometers per hour, but later it reduced its speed by 8 kilometers per hour. Therefore, in that condition, the revised speed after reducing the speed by 8 kilometers per hour would be x minus 8 kilometers per hour. So why did we take x minus 8 kilometers per hour? Initially, it was traveling at a distance at a speed of x kilometers per hour. Since it has reduced speed by 8 kilometers per hour, therefore the speed in this revised condition would be x minus 8 kilometers per hour. Similarly, the time taken for the second condition, he is giving a condition. So we will come back to condition. Here, time taken is what? Time taken is the distance by speed. Distance is, it is same distance, that is 480 kilometers, and the speed is x minus 8 kilometers per hour. So now he is giving the condition saying since the train is moving slower, so it would take 3 hours more than whatever time it was taking earlier. That is t2 is equal to t1 plus 3. So since we want to build an equation, let's transpose this t1 towards the LHS, that is t2 minus t1 is equal to 3. Now let's substitute the expressions what we have got already, that is 480 divided by x minus 8 is for t2 and t1 is 480 divided by x. So I've substituted the earlier obtained expressions. Now what we will do is we will try to simplify. Now we see that there are two terms in the LHS. Both the terms are having 480 in the numerator. Now let's take that 480 as a common. So if I take 480 as common from LHS, I would be left with 1 by x minus 8 minus 1 by x. Now, since there are two terms within the bracket which are of the form p by q, that is both are of a fractions with a variable x. Now let us take LCM. If you take LCM, then it would be x minus 8 multiplied by x. Since we don't know the values of x minus 8 and x, so they would just like that get multiplied. So if they are getting multiplied, then the first term would be x in the numerator minus of x minus 8. Now, how to simplify this? In order to simplify the numerator, open this bracket for numerator, and in order to open the bracket for the denominator, we will have to multiply x with both the terms. Now we will see how to do that. That is, x minus of plus x would be minus x, and minus into minus is plus, so we would get plus 8 here. Now coming to the denominator, x gets multiplied by x, which is x square. X into minus 8 is minus 8x. Now we see that there are two terms in the numerator, that is plus x and minus x. So these two would get cancelled, and we would be left with 480 multiplied by 8 in the numerator, followed by, in the denominator, x square minus 8x would remain as it is. Now in order to simplify and get a quadratic equation, let's transpose this denominator towards the RHS. Since it is getting divided in here in LHS, so in RHS it would get multiplied to 3. That is, 480 multiplied by 8 equals minus 3 into x square minus 8x. Now we see that 3 gets simplified. 3 ones are 3, 160 is a 16 3 is a 48. So it both sides 3 would get here on RHS, 3 would get cancelled by cancelling 480 to 160 times. Now with that, what happens? Or we can also divide by 3 on both LHS as well as RHS. If you divide by 3, then 3 gets cancelled in the RHS, and also in LHS 480 would become 160. Now let us simplify this. Let's multiply this and then find a value for this, which would be 1280. Now if you open bracket for RHS, minus of x square would be minus x square, minus into minus is plus 8x. Now let us take both the terms of RHS towards the LHS. With that, what happens? Minus x square on RHS would become plus x square. So minus x square upon transpose would become plus x square. Also plus 8x upon transpose would become minus 8x. Now let us rearrange the terms with decreasing power of the variable x. With that, x square would be the first term, followed by minus 8x, followed by plus 1280. So with this, what happens? This is the required equation, that is x square minus 8x plus 1280 equals to 0 is the required quadratic equation, where x is what? X is the speed of the train in kilometers per hour. Thank you.